If quiet's a virtue, McCallsburg's your town.
Yeah, you can stand in the middle of Main Street and nobody's going to run over you.
But even towns this small
About 313.
need a cheerleader.
In my reign, I got natural gas in this city. I got cable TV in this city.
Theirs didn't choose to run for mayor when he hit retirement age. He was written in.
I guess I've got to do it. If they put their confidence in me, I'll do my best to serve them.
Now, 22 years later, Wally Loney might be pushing 88.
Hi, Pam.
Hello.
But he's pulling the weight of a man half his age.
Hard for the town to run without him.
Somebody has to do it. And I enjoy doing it.
Every morning he cruises town checking for trouble at the water tower
This is an auxiliary pump.
and wrestling utility covers he wouldn't have to be.
That's what keeps me young.
A young 88.
Some days I feel like 108. Next day I might feel like a newborn, kicking and raising kingdom.
During summer, he's the city mower. After storms, he's on the cleanup crew.
And I enjoy every minute of it. I really do.
Morning, Wally.
Morning.
Whoever wrote in this great-grandpa for mayor might have done it for a laugh.
If brains were dynamite, he couldn't blow his nose.
Something like that.
But the nearly 90-year-old who's not doing it for the money
They give me a cupcake every now and then.
is proving small-town pride doesn't expire with age.
Wally's probably the most caring, most concerned small-town mayor you could find.
In McCallsburg,
It's just a nice place to live.
Eric Hanson, News Channel 8, Iowa's news leader. Jim Limke was just being neighborly.
He didn't just want to know if you want to use my phone.
The noon-hour knock came with a request for a drink.
I said, the kitchen's out there. I didn't follow him.
That elderly man
Only 83. Well, I'm just getting started.
had no idea it was the fugitive that had wrecked his car, triggered an elementary lockdown, and had officers swarming.
And at what point did you realize something was up?
When I seen all these fuzz,
Neighbors know Jim's feisty enough to name his cane,
I'd just pick up my equalizer, say, would you like to leave?
but they hadn't heard from him for a while.
We decided right that we better get a hold of him and make sure that somebody isn't, doing something bad to him.
Inside, Jim had 30-year-old Denny Hoffman at cane point
I spent a few years in the Army, so I know what hurts and what don't.
and waited.
I was sitting on my chair, and he was sitting on the one across from me. Not much of nothing, actually.
Until the army of reinforcements moved in, led by a riot shield.
Took him out of the chair and said, let's go.
Most folks who survive a living room encounter with a wanted man being led to a car in cuffs would have frayed nerves.
Well, we'll thank for he's all right, and that's what we was concerned about.
Jim could care less, instead using his old equalizer to hobble around in search of his cat, Bubble Butt, who had to be around here somewhere.
I guess I'm one of them crazy people that things don't really bother you. I'm too old, excuse me.
We can edit it.
Spin the clock back and listen,
A tractor that's about to break down.
and you can guess
Old-timer tractor.
why they call these Johnny Poppers.
Hits a beat and then it misses a couple and it hits another one and just sits there and pops.
Basically got it to have an extra tractor around the farm.
A workhorse that eventually had found a corner of Lyle's shed, sat, and rusted.
All the tires were blown out except one.
Basically, I thought it was a pile of rust.
A silent heap, Lyle's teenage grandson Connor became determined to hear pop again.
Last fall he said, let's do it this winter. Let's do it this winter. I think we can get it in the ag shop and I'll use it for my class projects.
He's like, yeah, I got a tractor that doesn't need much work.
They had no idea it needed a new everything.
We're all just like, seriously?
But last fall, it became everything.
Well, it was homecoming night.
Just hours after the dance ended.
Yeah, he was on his way home. Just a mile away from his house is what happened.
A crash took the life of the 15-year-old who bled John Deere Green.
And we just said we're going to do it because we know what we're doing it for.
We didn't really care of the cost or anything like that. We were just going to do it for him.
Sophomores in Mount Ayre's Ag Mechanics class usually tear apart lawnmowers. This year's class didn't just rebuild Lyle's 80-year-old classic.
On a two-cylinder tractor, You get gas and fire and ignition, it's going to run.
When it fired up, our grins were from ear to ear.
A few tears were shed, yes.
It was awesome.
They repaired a family.
It's helped us in healing, you know, to be able to remember him in a good way, definitely.
With elbow grease, John Deere green, and that pop.
Every time we hear it, it just puts a smile on our face.
It's more than a tractor, definitely.
In Mount Ayr, Eric Hanson, News Channel 8, Iowa's news leader.
So 6. Thank you. Raffle tickets.
Friday sunsets scream small town pride.
It's our homecoming and I'm the king.
But on the night of royalty,
she is being escorted by Logan Weirs.
Everyone's pumped up.
Osceola's man with the crown has dubbed himself the Scream King.
I always cheer. Lose, win, I always cheer.
If he only knew what had started 2 hours earlier.
And keep us true to high ideals. We ask for a state.
In a house 45 miles away.
Love our football!
Some college kids spend their Fridays hitting a club.
Hey, your new shirt?
Here, Goodwill's the brand of choice.
Time to get painted up.
And Estee Lauder would cringe.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes!
If she knew it took experience to teach them, don't use house paint.
It didn't come off for like 3 days.
Then, an hour before kickoff,
is everyone else outside?
See you, Mike!
They move.
Small town!
Woo!
Here's my number. Maybe, everybody.
So call me maybe.
Back in Osceola, the homecoming banner is a tradition. The 40 lunatics are not.
What's going on?
They're too old to be students here.
Hey, it's marked on 5 yards.
Who are those guys? I want to get to know them. There's some pretty good-looking ones.
Mystery men in maroon.
Let's go Indians!
Who will take over the front row. They're not alums.
As far as I know, I don't think anybody knows anybody here.
Or cousins.
I don't think any of us out here are related to anybody.
They are the brothers of Simpson College's SAE fraternity.
Shut that Indian spirit out!
Who've been delivering school spirit unannounced to small towns across southern Iowa for 20 years.
Beat 'em! Defeat 'em! Knock 'em under! Woo!
Every year we go to 2 or 3 football games as well as a couple basketball games. Just go cheer on either a visiting team, an underdog. If somebody asks us to go cheer on their team, whatever it takes, we get out there and lose our voices by the second half, but stay for the third and fourth quarters.
Violets, emblem of fraternity.
They'll serenade the queen.
I couldn't stop smiling. They're kind of crazy.
Or scream when their team's down 6-0. Or 28-0.
Doesn't bother us.
Or 48-0.
This is the time where we get really pumped up. We get the crowd pumped up.
It's totally hilarious. We're enjoying it.
Which is progress. Because these stands
It probably would have been really empty after the band got done.
have seen a lot of misery. Over the last 11 years, Clark's record was 5-94. This year's new coaches started 3-0, getting the fraternity's attention.
Yes, we do! How about you?
Before their showdown with 7th-ranked Bondurant Farrar.
I-N-D-I-A-N-S! I-N-D-I-A-N-S!
It's just amazing to see the support for the kids. They love it.
Some spot a frat boy and think trouble.
We're here to prove them wrong, and that's what we're doing.
What's gonna work? Teamwork!
By the time the clock matched the home team's score, Osceola's eardrums were hearing a different tune.
Even though it was a pretty bad loss, you can still have fun. You can always go out there, support a team, and just pick them up when they're down.
Eric Hanson, News Channel 8.
1, 2, 3,
Iowa's news leader.
I wish they'd come to every game.